This week I've been driving the 2021 Mercedes-AMG GLE 53 Coupe. Let's get started. All right, before we dive deep into this vehicle, let's quickly touch on a couple of other trims and models from Mercedes. First, the GLE is Mercedes kind of mid-tier SUV. It's a 3-row SUV. You have the GLE and the GLE Coupe. Obviously, the GLE is a more traditional SUV. The GLE Coupe is the coupe-styled SUV. You have two trims available from AMG in this thing, the 53 and the 63S. So there is a step above what we're driving here. But in this video, we're gonna mainly focus on this vehicle, and we'll touch a little bit on what that 63S offers above this. But without further ado, let's talk about the exterior design here. Then we'll look at the hatch. We'll look under the hood and see what's powering it. We'll jump inside, take a look at the interior and some of the tech. Then we'll take it for a drive and see if that AMG badge really means something. And then we'll wrap it up with some pricing and competition talk. But let's keep going with this review. So let's start off talking about this exterior design by talking about the color. It is polar white, and you got a lot of black accents. That's because we have the AMG night package. I think it looks really good. That night package gives you a front splitter, front and rear apron trim strips, window trim, and exterior mirror housing, all in high gloss black. Up front here, we've got that traditional AMG grille, same you'll see on a lot of the SUVs now, with the AMG badge low on the driver's side of the front grille. Those headlamps are part of the LED intelligent light system with ultra wide high beams. So they are LED daytime running lamps as well as LED headlamps. Those side mirrors again are the high gloss black, and they also fold on lock, which is really nice. Wheels on this vehicle are 21-inch AMG twin 5-spoke wheels. They are 10 by 21-inch front and 11 by 21-inch rear wheels with some Michelin performance tires on there. These wheels are massive. Moving around to the rear of the vehicle, you see the LED tail lamps, and we have the AMG performance exhaust. You can see more of that gloss black trimming. We also have the AMG badge proudly displayed back here and that GLE 53 badge. There's also a nice little lip spoiler on that rear hatch. And overall, the exterior is very aggressive and athletic. But with that, let's pop that hatch, take a look at the cargo area, and keep this review moving. So overall, the exterior here is very aggressive and athletic. That coupe body style is actually something I really like in SUVs these days. It's not as practical, which we'll get into a little bit later, but it does look good. With that, let's pop that hatch, dive into the cargo area really quick, and then we'll move to the engine. First off, you can hit the button back here. You just push in the Mercedes logo, and it will pop. You can also pop it from the key, and there's buttons inside to pop it as well. Now, the exact cargo volume of this vehicle actually isn't even determined yet. It's still pretty new on the manufacturer's website, so some of the stats were not available. But I can tell you it is a really large cargo area. You also have a shelf that folds out here to cover up stuff or extra storage, but it goes super deep to those second row seats. Now, I did say in the intro that the GLE is a 3-row vehicle, and it is, but the AMG deletes that third row in favor of more cargo space. And with that coupe design, you're not gonna get a third row back here. But of course, that opens it up to have a large cargo volume. All right, and with that, let's close up the hatch and go pop the hood, check out what's under the hood. All right, and under the hood here, we have a 3-liter inline-6 turbocharged with EQ boost. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second when we drive the vehicle. This has 429 horsepower, 385 foot-pounds of torque, and is matched up to AMG's Speed Shift TCT 9-speed automatic transmission. If you're looking at the AMG 63S, that gets AMG's 4-liter bi-turbo V8. We've driven that in a few different vehicles. I'll try to link up in the iCards or down in the description below if you're interested in seeing some of those reviews. That thing pushes 603 horsepower, 627 foot-pounds of torque, and is matched up with the same 9-speed transmission. It's a beast of an engine. And with that, we'll close up the hood, move inside, and start talking about the interior. And before we jump in, let me just say, getting into this vehicle brings up one of the biggest gripes I have about this style. Love the design of this thing, but it is difficult to get in and out of. It's got a pretty high step in here, which isn't a big deal. I'm tall, but it's got a lower roof line. So to get in, you got to step up, but also bend down. It's one thing getting into a sports coupe that you got to slide down into, but to step up and bend down, it's a little bit awkward. All right, guys, and no doubt the interior in this thing is really nice. Not just nice and comfortable to be in, but filled with tech. It's going to take a little bit to run through as much as possible. We definitely won't hit on everything, but if you got questions that I did not answer or want to see more in an updated video, please leave those in the comments below. But with that, let's get into it. So first off, our interior package is brown and black Napa leather with dark gray wood trim. These are AMG seats, super comfortable, very bolstered. You can see the different colors mixed in and the different materials mixed in. Very nice, very controllable. Both the driver and passenger seats have a lot of controls and memory settings. You also have heated and ventilated seats, and they are also massaging seats. Now the rear seats here aren't super spacious for the GLE, and with the coupe design, the roof line is super low, but the kids fit back there just fine, 3 wide. No issues there. And again, they're really nice seats. Unfortunately, those rear seats are not heated seats. And with the cold weather we've been having here in North Texas, the kids really wish they were, but they had to make the sacrifices while we were rocking the heated and massaging seats up here in the front. You do get a push button start here. Let's kick it on real quick so that we can see the rest of the tech and everything in here, including what you might already be seeing with the ambient lighting. This is a full 64 color ambient lighting system, and there are lights throughout the cabin, and they can be controlled through the infotainment system we'll look at in just a second. But first, let's check out these cup holders. They can be cooled or heated cup holders. Very cool. Right above that is the connectivity. You have 2 USB Type-C ports, one for charging only and one to interface with the infotainment, and you have a wireless charging pad. Moving up a bit from there is all the buttons for your AC and heat controls. You can also control this all through the touchscreen menu as well. We've got a nice looking row of vents nestled in that gray wood trimming. And then of course the party piece of a lot of the Mercedes vehicles is this dual screen display. That's 2 12.3-inch LCD displays. Over here you do have a touch screen. Obviously, no need for that to be a touch screen. This can also be interfaced through the touchpad down here and through controls on the steering wheel, which we'll get to in just a second. But let's dive in a little bit to some of the tech you get here and how you control it. So again, you have the touchpad that you can swipe through. You have different gestures that you can use on this touchpad. You've got a couple of buttons for going home, for shuffling side to side and back. You have your volume button over here. You can hit a quick button for your nav, radio, and telephone here. But this is a super nice high quality display. You've got phone options, your navigation, which looks really nice. Radio, media, comfort, which we'll dive into really quickly because this is where we access those heated seats and might as well get it going. And again, you can do those different massages for either the driver or passenger, and there are quite a few different massages. You also have seat comfort settings for stuff like your bolstering, where you want the heat to be for your heated seat. And finally, you have your ambient lighting setup. You can change the color, you can pick themes to go through, and you can set the brightness for these. A lot of really great stuff there. Next, we have the AMG Track Pace, which is to be used on racetracks. We have the AMG Performance, which you can go through a lot of information here. You can look at a lot of the vehicle settings here, engine data, and some consumption data. You have the Mercedes-Me apps and different car settings buried into here. Lots of stuff that you can customize and change with the vehicle. Again, just so much that we're definitely not going to be able to get into everything, but it is a very clean experience. Really nice display, pretty intuitive all around. And this is all the Mercedes-Benz UX system, or the MB UX. You also have voice control with natural language understanding. So you can give keyword activation using "Hey Mercedes."
How may I help you?
And that will allow you to do a lot of different features throughout the vehicle. One of my favorite is just saying, "Hey Mercedes, turn on my heated seat."
I'm switching on the seat heating.
So that's really cool. It also recognizes what side of the vehicle that you talk from. So if the passenger engages it, it will actually recognize the passenger's voice. And if the driver engages it, it will recognize the driver's voice. It'll actually, if the passenger engages it, it will not let the driver give it commands. It will only take commands from the passenger, from what we've found. So it's pretty interesting there. One of the things you also get here is Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integrations. What we don't have, or what I couldn't figure out, is wireless Apple CarPlay. A lot of vehicles now are getting that wireless Apple CarPlay. Would have liked to see it here, especially with the wireless charger, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't have that. You do have to have it tethered to the vehicle. And as you can see, it does not take up the full display here. It crops it in to this smaller aspect ratio and blacks out the other sides of the screen. Just something to consider, but that's more of an Apple CarPlay limitation than it is a Mercedes one. But let's move on. Moving down around the touchpad, we also have our dynamic settings here. So you can pick if you're going to be in Sport, Sport Plus, Comfort, or an individual setting. You also have a button to activate your cameras, and it does have a full 360 camera system, but you can pick what camera you want to look at here, as well as having the rear view camera activate the system as well. Next up, you have a button to quick access your safety settings, stuff like your parking sensors, your lane keeping assist, stuff we'll touch on in just a few as well. And finally, a button for some favorites. You can create favorites in the menus, and this will take you straight to those favorites. And of course, one of our favorites that we've got set up is those massaging seats. Moving a little bit further back, this is just a hand rest here. So when you're using the touchpad, it's a comfortable position. Back here, you have a lot of your driving setting buttons. So this will also activate your driving settings. This will turn off traction control. This will lower and raise the car, which I'll try to show in a few as well. This sets your suspension settings. You can change it from Sport, Sport Plus, or Comfort. And finally, your exhaust settings here to be powerful or balanced. And then finally, we have the center armrest. Center armrest is also heated, so when you have your heated seat on, this will heat as well. And it gets pretty warm, but it's really nice. Hit the button here and it opens up. You have a pretty decent amount of space here, as well as another USB Type-C charging port. All right, and finally, let's touch on the steering wheel. This is the optional AMG Performance steering wheel wrapped in Napa leather. It is not a heated steering wheel. You can get a heated steering wheel in the GLE, but if you get the AMG steering wheel, it is not heated. You obviously have a lot of controls and buttons on here. You have these little touch pads that control, on this side, the driver information display, and on this side, the infotainment display. You have volume rockers, a home button here, and then this is a lot of your cruise control settings over here. Down here, you have quick access buttons for your exhaust setting and your AMG dynamic setting. You can put that to Basic, Advanced, or Pro. And on this side is a dial for your driving settings. So you twist it, you get Sport, Sport Plus, and going back, you got Comfort, Individual, and then some of your other settings like Slippery, Trail, Sand. We'll keep it in Comfort for now and move on to that driver information display. So just like the other display, this thing can be configured and set. There are a lot of menu systems going on in here. You can change a lot of different things that you're looking at to make it appeal to you. You can change it to look at navigation, phone, driving assist features, obviously your performance pages, trip info, radio, media. You've got different designs that you can go for. So this is the classic look. We obviously also have Sport, which gives it a whole new feel. Super Sport, which again gives you a whole new look and feel. Understated, which is a cleaner, simpler look. And some standard displays here. Again, super configurable, probably missing some, but it is pretty nice. And let's just keep it on that Super Sport. As you can see here, also, if you slide up in this menu system, you can do the heads-up display. So this does have a massive heads-up display that can be just as configurable as the other displays. Let's jump into that right now. All right, and as always, it's a little bit difficult to see these displays here on the camera, but you can see that you can switch between different things that you're seeing here and different ways to display it. You can also have this 3 setup here where you can show different things in each area. Or you can turn it off completely. But I quite like it up there. And it is a color display, and it looks really bright in person. And there's no extra tint or hue that shows you where the screen is. It's a really quality display. And again, I quite like it. All right, guys, and we've done it. We've went through the entire interior and a lot of the tech. I think it's time to get this thing out on the road. So let's do that now. So let's go ahead and put it into Sport Plus. We have our exhaust on powerful, suspension Sport Plus, and we'll turn AMG Dynamics to Sport Plus. Okay, everything's in Sport Plus, powerful. Let's just get going here. Obviously, first thing to talk about is that exhaust note, and it sounds really good. You've got a lot of burbles and crackles as you let off the gas. Definitely a good sounding vehicle here. Let's put it on the little makeshift circuit and see what's what. Like I said, we're in Sport Plus everything. We're on a little back road circuit that we got here. So let's just push it a little bit and see how it feels. That power comes on immediately. The exhaust burbles sound really good. Hard turn in, a little bit of body roll, but not much. That suspension is doing its work. Just immediately to the next corner. You just push that accelerator pedal and hang on. Definitely a fun sports vehicle to drive. So that was a little bit on the back circuit. Let's get on this straightaway. Let's do a quick 0 to 60. Pull out the old timer here and see what we got here for a 0 to 60 run. Ready, set, go. I missed the 60, but it's less than 6 seconds, that's for sure. It definitely has the power to push you back in the seat. Even if you're already going and in gear, hitting that gas pedal takes a second, but really rockets you ahead. And again, that exhaust and all the burbles, very nice. Now this does have AMG's Performance 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive. So you're getting all 4 wheels working for you. And as you might have seen as we were scrolling through the drive modes, you do have modes for slippery surfaces and trails. And the trail mode will automatically raise the vehicle, which it can do as you're driving. So that's what we're doing right now. I don't know if I would be necessarily taking this on any trails, but the idea of having some thick rally tires on this thing and taking it to a rally circuit sounds pretty insane to me. Of course, putting it back into comfort mode, everything quietens down, everything levels out. It becomes a more refined and nice ride, and this is where I left it for most of the week. But when you want to have fun, you want to put it into that Sport Plus and really hear that exhaust, it's easy to accomplish. That suspension also is working hard to keep you level. We do have self-leveling AMG Ride Control Plus, and really pushing it through the corners. You can tell this thing is trying to keep it as level as possible for this big body. Fuel economy here in the 53 with the 3-liter engine is 18 miles per gallon city, 23 miles per gallon highway, which is pretty decent for a car with this kind of power. I have no complaints there. You also get a lot of safety features, which will rattle through really quickly. You have active brake assist, the MB emergency call service, the attention assist, cross-wind assist, which might be helping out in the strong wind we're having today. You have blind spot assist, Parktronic with active parking assist, and a ton more. All right, so yeah, that's a lot of fun, but let's pull back over. Let's quickly talk about the price and some competition, and we'll wrap the video up. All right, guys, so sadly the review is coming to a close, but before we close it out, let's talk about the price and a little bit about the competition of this vehicle. So just touching on the AMG trims, this one, the AMG 53, has a base MSRP of $76,500. This one that we're in with the options that we have here is $92,735. That's a hefty MSRP, but the GLE 63S Coupe base price is $127,820, and that I'm sure you can push up a lot further than that. Obviously, competition that comes to mind first are the Dodge and Jeep Hellcat SUVs that you have available. Obviously, those are going to have more horsepower, probably just as much, if not more fun, but you got a lot more tech and comfort and safety in the Mercedes than you would that. You have offerings from BMW and Audi, mostly the BMW X6M, which I haven't driven, so I'm really not going to touch on too much, but I do love BMW's designs and driving style. But Mercedes tends to have nicer interiors and more tech. But let me jump out. I'll give you my final thoughts on the AMG GLE 53 Coupe. Let's go. So it should be no surprise that I really enjoyed this vehicle. It's such a fun vehicle to drive. It's an impressive looking vehicle. It turns heads in a good way. And if you've got about 100 grand to spend on your sporty SUV, this is definitely a good way to spend it. Of course, you can get something with more horsepower, more madness with something like the Hellcat Durango or Jeep Grand Cherokee, but this thing is going to give you a level of refinement and luxury that those just aren't. So it just depends on what you're looking for in that case. So I'm interested to know what you think down in the comments below, so be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you're into car reviews and things of this nature. Be sure to check out TXGARAGE.com for more written reviews as well as news and event coverage over there. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.